not here at that time, give us your real name.
Yeah, make sure you share your real name so we can all know each other.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Joseph H. on YouTube. My real name is Joseph Hickman. I want to first start by saying thank you to everybody that shared what they shared, because it got me really reflecting on my life. And I'm not good at public speaking, so excuse me. But we're gonna break it down. My experience with this information initially, I started with the Daily Fires, man. I started with the Daily Fires, so I got a very blended past. You know, it wasn't perfect, it wasn't, you know, peaches and cream, you know. Had a mother that grew up in the Catholic Church, you know, she really operated out of faith, but even she had her own vices. I got a notorious for gangbanging, you know what I'm saying, out of California, in and out of prison. Got brothers, siblings, all that, in and out of prison. So seeing these things growing up, it gave me a different kind of point of reference, you know what I'm saying? But ultimately, for the value system that was laid down for my mother was karma-based. You know, what you reap is what you sow, so you're going to be good, you're going to do good at it. You got a choice. For my dad, there's a lot of honor based on respect. This is an individual that's willing to die about his respect, you know what I'm saying? So identifying what kind of things I would take and pull at certain things, and certain things I was achieving growing up, certain things I was getting whooped growing up. So let's fast forward, right? Stepping into the Daily Fires, there was one Daily Fire that really stood out to me the most, and it was the grief can be turned into ultimate bliss. Is that what it is? Yeah. That one right there took me down a rabbit hole because of everything that I'm experiencing, seeing growing up in a household of, as society will see, discrepancies, the lowest of the low. You would never be nothing. It was actually a place of love. You know what I'm saying? It was a place of two people, or, you know, just a throng of people that's out here operating out of their purity of love of what they believe in. You know what I'm saying? So there was one thing that Dre said, he just got to saying it, you know, just a while ago, which was from County Monte Cristo, only he who had experienced ultimate despair is capable of experiencing ultimate bliss. I held on to that because when I got into the Daily Fires, I had experienced a near-death car accident. Hit a tree, headlights went out, all this good jazz, you know, I'm not gonna belabor that point. I pretty much woke up in the hospital out of an eight-day coma. So transitioning 2 years after that, seeing that one, I was like, okay, there's a purpose here, you know? So going through these Daily Fires, taking on the information, what was being laid in the Daily Fires, because I'm gonna get to that point too. Operating in that, and also challenging my belief system of what I grew up in a household previously was back and forth. Okay, this area right here, nah, that's very small. That's very diminishing of manhood. That's very diminishing of what would be pleasing in the Most High lives, right? So, come on, girls.
Okay.
So challenging them things, I'm getting whooped. I'm getting whooped out here, but I'm falling forward. I'm falling forward in certain areas. So I'm through that situation with the car accident, I get charged on that. Thank the Most High, I didn't go back to prison because I've been in prison too. Very young age. Most High was really, you know, covering me in that moment. I ended up just doing a year of house arrest. So within that year of house arrest, they gave me 8 months, 3 months good time. I'm sitting there, that's when I discovered, Sinful and a couple other cats and all this other kind of good jazz, still going back and forth with the information. I had taken on a lady, you know what I'm saying? I had taken a lady up under my belt, and you know what I'm saying? I'm operating with a new level of understanding from the Daily Fires as well. And then it got down to the point where I'm with this woman, and I started seeing some of my old ways for me, what I grew up with, started impeding on this new way, the foundation that I built with this woman. So now she's starting to look at me a little bit different. Even though she's saying that she wanted to be there, she was starting to show signs that she was about to start building up some key resentment toward me. That was going to become a place of scorn for me, a place of danger, in other words. You know what I'm saying? So taking on this position, from the information, I had to take a stand and just tell her, you know, you can't move forward. As much as you want to be here, I know you want to be here. You can't move forward. That right there was the transition over to when D and Dre did that one class together. And D said, you're gonna end up having to lose one. You're gonna end up having to lose a woman that you really want, man. That's what's really gonna catapult you into, as we call it in the remnant, it's gonna promote you to something greater.
Yes, indeed.
No, because it's pleasing the Most High God, because you're honoring the aspect of manhood. So I took that on, and then Dre went silent. Dre went silent on YouTube. Then the fires disappeared. I'm like, man, where's my fuel? Hold on, brother. You know what I'm saying? What's going on here? So I'm sitting on the sidelines, taking the little clips and all this good jazz, taking what I can get. Still out here doing more, but also succeeding in certain areas as well. So then I remember one time I was on IG, I seen a better path, and I reached out to Brother D. I was like, man, I just want to relate this to you. You know what I'm saying? What you guys shared in this video was astonishing. And I broke down my testimony, what I had to do. He's like, man, that's powerful work. Where's your testimony in the chat? I'm like, chat, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? He's like, yeah, but you're in the chat. I was like, hold on. I'm not even in there. He's like, man, you need to get up in there. So I was already in the phase of thinking about joining, but also I was in a spirit of, okay, now I want to kind of do this myself. I'm not going to say it was maverick, but it definitely might have been a little bit of maverick there because that's what I was already conditioned to doing before. Mm-hmm. So I had to take an executive decision. I was like, man, let me go join this thing. So I joined. Completely different than the Davis Files. It opened up something that was truly incredible. At first, didn't make sense because, like I said, I grew up in a household based on karma. Of course, you know, there was always the higher power of some sense, but it wasn't the true identity of God and the Most High, pretty much the terms and all that kind of jazz, right? So now stepping into the information in the remnant side, that just leaped over to so many areas of my life that just, man. So going back into my relationship with my father, right? Notorious gangbanger, all this other kind of jazz, OG out of that, whatever. He in and out of prison. The information is able to give you the opportunity now to step into observation mode where you can now identify certain areas of your life where you didn't recognize what God was, but God was there the whole entire time. And there was an omnipresent net of safety, security, covering, love. You know what I'm saying? To be able to bring you up hither. Because he knew you before you was in the womb, so he already got it destined for you. All it is that you just got to step into that belief system. So by stepping into that belief system now with the bringing information, and more so the information that Dre's delivering, I'm able to take up my mantle for myself of what I'm out here experiencing in life, but also what I've already experienced before because I'm stepping back and looking at everything now, and I'm like, hold on, what was the cause of going to prison like that? When I got homeboys that got killed, doing the same thing that I was doing. What was the cause of surviving that car accident? It really got me reflecting, really thinking, right? So now being able to take the grace and mercy of the Most High and identify certain areas of where I was still seeing value or concern about my father, right? I was able to take my power back because there's a statement that Dre tells us all the time: you shall not have no care, needs, or wants in the presence of the Most High. And then there's even a precept that matches up with that. Somebody supporting me on this one. The cares and needs outside of the Most High would be there for something forevermore. Come on, Jay.
In the presence of God, there is fullness of joy. But under the right hand, there are pleasures.
When I read that, I took that to heart. I didn't just hear that, I didn't just read that, but also I didn't just read that with religion eyes, because I've been in church and all that. What I was actually able to do now was identify the action of that, the purity of that, the sincerity of that, but also the promise of that from the Most High. You know what I'm saying? So I remember we had a family reunion in Spokane. That's my hometown, and my sister's out there, and we're coming back. You know what I'm saying? Anytime we go to Spokane, it's always something. You know what I'm saying? Family, that side of the family, They're a little bit rambunctious. You know what I'm saying? They act. Me and my sister, we coming back, and we coming through the pass. You know, we pretty much left at the same time. She's behind me, but we on the phone. She's like, you know, 'cause I tell her a lot about the, you know, certain situations that be popping up and all this other kind of jazz, my father and all that. So she was definitely an open ear, limited to me to be able to share that with her. You know, so she had asked me. She was like, you know, so is everything good? How you feeling? How you doing with all this other kind of jazz? I was now finally able to pull from a source of strength
Yes, sir.
and confirmation of what I now know that I have. She not knowing that I know that everything's good. Because I shall not have no care, needs, or wants, because I'm in the presence of the Most High. You know what I mean? And then she was like, I'm so happy to hear that. Like, this is every, like, like, she's curious now. What's going on? You speaking a little bit different. I'm like, you know, we'll talk about it when we get home. So now anytime she sees me, we have a conversation. And she can see the relief, because this relief document is something incredible. I promise you. You're talking about a mantle that you didn't even know that you had, but it's literally sitting there waiting for you to take it up so you can step up hither and stay up hither. You know what I'm talking about? You don't need to be down there with the low. You already been there, man. It's time for promotion, man. But it's going to require you to believe and really step into this obedience and submission and really sacrificing things. Man, Dre told me one time, he said, you know, you said that you want everything, but are you willing to give up everything? When you step into this information, there's not nothing that you're really willing to give up, because you know, ultimately at the end of the day, it's going to be pleasing to the Most High's eyes, and that's the only thing that's going to count. And I take that to a higher regard. I don't let that fall by the wayside. I don't let that wave that you toss and throw like the sand, like the waves of the sea. You know what I'm saying? Kind of play both sides of the fence. No. Take it up here and stay up here. You know what I'm saying? But the key thing with my father that I really want to point out, because this is all the transition, is I'm now able to identify the strongholds that were being placed, or actually that were placed on me that I didn't identify before I stepped into this information. I'm talking about anger, disappointment, fear, all these things, you know what I'm saying? All placed within this relationship, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm a junior as well, so I go to Spokane, they're looking at me like I'm supposed to be just like him. You know what I'm talking about? That ain't the way it's supposed to be, brother. You're gonna see a new thing today. Finally, so with that being the case, taking all them strongholds and diminishing and breaking them things down, there's a freeing, you know what I'm saying? There's a weight lifting, and also there's an action of forgiveness, because I'm stepping out of grace and mercy he have to lend to him. So now when he sees me, you see your son, but you also see a man. You know what I'm talking about? You see a man who's gonna respect me and such. There ain't never been no disrespect, but you know, there's that. We see eye level. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know. Hey, look, Drake's cold with it, man. He said one time, we went and got dinner. And I said that, I was like, they don't even know they in the presence of the original man. He said, they don't, but you know. I know what that means now. I know exactly what that means now. I've been sitting with that one for the last 2 weeks. So that's it.
Oh, praise.